Welcome to PROCrastinate, a podcast hosted by me, Athena Keblenyu. I chat to interesting creatives about how they get stuff done when they'd rather be getting other stuff done. This episode, my guest is Margaret Caborn Smith. She is hilarious, fantastic, intelligent, erudite, all the good things, and I can't wait for you to hear my conversation with her. Enjoy. Margaret Caborn Smith,
Hi.
Welcome to PROCrastinate. I emphasise the pro because I've stylised it because we're professional procrastinators.
Oh.
Margaret Caborn Smith, can I just say writer, actor, podcaster? What have I missed out?
No, those are all right.
Yeah.
Guru.
Influencer.
Influencer. Broadcaster.
Empress.
Empress.
Our Lord
Yeah.
and Saviour. Welcome to my remote part of London.
I mean, it's gorgeous, but was it worth the 2-hour journey?
Yes, because you are a procrastinator and you're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, I do love a
So
long commute.
You are a procrastinator. You like to procrastinate. What should you be doing now?
Okay. I mean, being in the creative industries, as we are, and also being of a certain age and not being of a certain level of celebrity. You know, there's part of me, I have friends who are celebrities who can now do pretty much whatever they fancy. I know. And we're both super jealous of them. But I don't have that luxury. What I do have is about 12 things that I should be doing. I sort of feel like if I'd picked one lane, actually, I think even if you do pick one lane, you're not allowed to stay in it, really.
No, not in the comedy world.
No.
Not in the comedy kind of writing world.
What did you picture when you started in comedy? Did you picture doing one thing?
I didn't actually picture anything, which is really bad of me. I'm not very good with vision boards. I wanted to be a stand-up, but I didn't fully understand what that meant.
Sure.
I just kind of knew that there were people who stood on the stage and spoke out loud and they got paid a lot of money to do it. Yeah. And I thought, well, that would be quite nice. And I didn't really properly visualize what that would mean materially. I just thought, well, if I was holding the microphone and I was talking, that'd be my job.
So that's what you were visualizing.
I think so, but I didn't really... Yeah, but everything connected to that I didn't really think about. So I guess I did just want to be a stand-up, but I didn't even then know what that meant.
No, and the thing is, even if you were just, and you're not, you also have many hyphenates, as Americans call
I'm
them.
a slashy.
Yeah, that sounds
slashy,
more,
that's what they say.
More disturbing. Even if you were just a stand-up, what you don't realise when you go into something is just the sheer amount of admin around it, just the actual the number of emails and linking calendars and just begging all of that stuff, let alone writing what you're going to say. And even if you don't do that in a I write this down and then I remember it and say it later, which lots of stand-ups don't, you still have to be creatively getting the the material in order to get it out that night when you're performing it. It could take 24 hours a day, right?
Easily,
if not more.
Yeah.
So the idea of doing anything else is, I mean, it would be such a luxury, wouldn't it, to just be a stand-up? As in, not a mother, sister, daughter, friend, just
partner,
a stand-up. Yeah, partner.
Yeah.
Any of those things that you're attempting to do, human, just the stand-up. Some people probably are like that. They're insane. Nobody wants to know them.
They're either living very humble lives or they're very wealthy.
Yeah,
it's
huge narcissists.
It's two extremes, isn't it? This is my full-time job and I live in a skip, or this is my full-time job and I live in a palace. But there isn't really a midway for that. And I think that's not an exaggeration. That's pretty
no,
much.
Definitely.
I'm
very
You've
into
got 12 things to do. You've got 12 things to do. Are they all work related?
Well, what I realised on the way here, the other thing about doing this as a job is that you can consider everything work, right? Everything. And it doesn't matter, you'd be like, well, yes, today I am having lunch with my friend who works in an office, but that's work that easily. I mean, she could have stories, there could be fodder, I could be learning stuff from the journey.
How can you write about the world if you don't absorb
and that is
the world?
That is absolutely true. Yeah. Like if you're trying to create, you cannot just sit in front of your computer. It doesn't work. And I remember meeting a friend who was having to write a series. And she was just like, I'd forgotten what it was like to come out. And she was saying, but things have happened to me. And actually I've had thoughts that I wouldn't have had when I'm just panicking by my computer.
Yeah.
So it all counts as work. But obviously, truthfully, I know that is not.
But it is. Okay, so this is
not work, is it?
I've had a few of these conversations now with people.
Yeah.
And what I've decided is, and I've said this sentence a lot, so in the edit, it's not going to sound as impressive as it does when I say it out loud, but we all
need to hear it.
We all need to be kinder to ourselves. Okay, so first of all, this is our job. Okay, there are people more successful than us. Yay for them.
Oh my God, so pleased for them.
But genuinely,
hashtag living their best lives.
Yay, genuinely yay for them. And also there are people less successful, and yay for them too, because they keep going. But we pay our bills, we do what we need to do, and we enjoy it. Hopefully we enjoy it. Okay. So first of all, when we talk about procrastination, we can't talk about it in a huge negative way, because either in spite of or because of, we're out here doing what we do. Secondly, like, you have to, it's just, and we've said it already, you have to observe and be in the world to write about it. So many times I'm in a writer's room, and more often than not, I'm saying, oh, a guy did this once, a woman did this once, this happened to me the other day. Yeah. Oh, actually, and like, it's not even inspiration, it's rooting what we're writing about in some kind of reality. Being human and doing human stuff is part of it. Like, we can basically tax expense everything, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, this is all part of the job. And
no, absolutely.
You know, and we really do, sadly. Felt tip pen, yeah, I've used that. And then creativity, we're not factories. Okay, so I'm not a factory that makes a battery. So it's like, here's one battery, here's two batteries, here's three batteries. Not here's a joke, here's another joke, here's another joke. Creativity is a much more ethereal thing. Yeah. Okay, and if that means if I have to go and sit on the bike for 10 minutes and get my brain working before something comes out, if I've got to go to Sainsbury's to buy a packet of crisps because I want one, and what I will do in my head on the walk there, whilst I'm wandering around the supermarket, and on the walk back, is actually setting me up to do something when I get home. Yeah. All of this is worthwhile. All of it. Because if it wasn't, what would we be doing?
Yeah, definitely. Do you feel guilty?
Yes.
When you're doing those things, though?
Yes. I'm learning not to feel guilty anymore.
That's what I'm trying to do as well. Because it is, it's accepting, well, I can't be productive. That's what they want you to think you are, just being productive all the time. Yeah, I'm
learning to not feel guilty, because so much of our jobs is not in our hands anyway, which is so annoying. But so much of our success isn't based on, we don't work in a meritocracy. Most people don't actually. Yeah. So because of that, we need to look after ourselves. And if something isn't happening that I'd like to happen, it's not because I had a nap on Tuesday. It's
big
not,
fan of naps.
I'm a huge fan of naps. I love a nap. I find them quite nice and
really good, creative, articulate words.
But I used to make sure that if I'd had a nap, I used to make sure I'd reset the room so no one would know I'd have a nap. Yeah. And I was like, well, who cares?
Oh my God. We had a builder in recently, and I tell you what, it's huge for noticing what you do with your time and for observing through them. So going, oh my God. I was like, why? I can't go into that. I can't change rooms again now. He's going to think I'm such a weirdo. And obviously, they don't give a shit. Of course they don't. But I was so conscious of what I was doing. And I can't remember why, but I was completely wiped out. And I did say to him, I'm going to go and have a nap now. And he just looked at me and he said, I admire your honesty.
But did he think wink wink? Was he thinking, oh really?
Oh, do you think I was inviting him in? No.
He's like, is it 1974? This is after a few decades. It's a very old school kind of diary of a builder kind of.
No, but I did. No, he was lovely. But it was I think his was a really honest response. Yeah. Because I'm sure that he knows everyone's self-conscious in front of the builders. Everyone's oh God, how much tea do I drink? How much, I'm watching the telly while I'm on this
scrolling,
laptop. Yeah,
scrolling.
Exactly. Yeah. We all pretend we get up at 7 a.m. and
and do our
be fully dressed, ready for the world. Yeah. At 7 a.m. It's like, no, usually even on the school run, I'm only half dressed. Do you know what I mean? I'm just sort of easing myself into the day. say. But with this, it's like, oh, no, look how I present myself to.
So that's what we all need. We need a builder.
An observer, yeah.
Yeah, we need a CCTV.
Do you know about the panopticon? The panopticon, okay? It was invented as a prison, right? And it's a circular prison with a tower in the middle. And the idea is all of the prisoners, they can't tell whether they're being watched by someone in the middle tower, but they feel like they are.
Is
you
this
don't
theoretical?
know.
Is it
no,
real?
it's a real thing.
Okay.
I can't remember from when it was, but learnt about it in philosophy. But so the idea is the prisoners will behave themselves because they feel like they're being watched. They don't know for sure that they're being watched, but they will all behave as if they're being watched. And of course, they all just went completely insane because if you feel like you're being observed all the time, it's not good for you. You need the time for your brain to sort of slide into a puddle. Not that prisoners were supposed to be productive necessarily, but I think, well, especially in that situation where authority and punishment is hanging over you and whatever, but I think being observed by anyone is very, well, I don't know, I sort of think it is good for you and bad for you.
I think it is. I completely agree. So when I had an all job, I was way more productive, and there were very few moments where I was like, I need to hoover the radiators or whatever, because I was like busy, but also I was being watched more carefully by other people above me and people beneath me, right? So that's how I'm like, oh, that's how I had that work rate. Yeah. But now I'm my own boss and no one's watching me. You're
watching you now.
I'm watching me, and I'm a very lax manager. I'm pretty laid back. I'm like, oh, well, go on, Athena, have another nap. Oh, yeah,
have a second lunch.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's 3 p.m. but
treat
you
yourself.
Just start the beer because they're, the babysitter's picking the kids up, so you don't need to drive. So it's I could do with some management training. Are you a good manager of yourself?
I'm very good with time management.
Oh yeah.
Really good at that. But actually, God, soon, I don't know about you, but as soon as you give yourself a compliment, you start to think, is that true? Is that?
I never compliment myself.
You should. We all should. As you say, we should all be kinder to ourselves. We should all be true. Hey, I'm good at bleep.
I compliment myself on like tangible thing, like something that is kind of like, oh, I made a cake and it was a good cake and it's there and it's in front of me,
that's fine. It exists.
But things that are like
that anyone else could say, are you good at time management? I don't know.
Or just like even like art, like, because let's say I do
that's
something
impossible.
And it's like I like it, but some because I don't like it, and then it's like, well, then maybe I don't like it either.
No, and I have that really badly. I have it really annoys me because I do know people who, if their work is criticised, they'll just be like, fuck you, how dare you? And I'm the opposite. I'm like, I think this is good. And if someone says, oh, I don't know, I'm like, no, you're right, it's bad, I hate it, throw it away. Emma Thompson, she did a show, she had a sketch show called Thompson in the late 80s, probably late 80s, early 90s. And it was a big flop, and it was kind of, I think she felt a disaster, and obviously if you have a show with your name in the title and it's a big flop, then that's pretty humiliating. I don't think anyone is, recovering from that immediately. There's no sort of screw you going on. But interestingly, that was shown in the middle of the night in America, and someone saw a parody of a Jane Austen sketch and contacted her and asked her to write Sense and Sensibility, to adapt Sense and Sensibility.
No way.
Yeah. And
so they must have seen that years later. Yeah. And in fact, was it years later? I don't know how long it takes to get. She did it in the 90s, right? So I guess the sketch show was in the 80s.
Yeah, and a film takes a long time to make.
Of course.
So basically, that was what got her Oscar. That was what got her that performance, that kind of like iconic film. That all comes from a really public, humiliating failure, and that is the sort of story that we all need to remind ourselves.
That's a brilliant story. That's such a good story, and it reminds me of a piece of advice that I give myself. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to ask you what advice you give yourself.
Okay.
But my advice I give myself and everyone is that you just got to keep working. Like it's so basic, but it's like you've got to keep. Even this podcast is like I've got to keep working. Yeah, I've got to just keep thinking about what I want to talk about and what I want the world to see. Even if it's, dare I say it, tweeting. I've just got to keep working. I've got to keep doing. Like I do. I still do new material nights.
Yeah.
You know, like if I've got a quiet week, I'll just pop into some pub for 10 people. And it sounds silly, but like, not because I want that. I don't want there to be like a Hollywood producer who happens to be in the fucking Rosemary Tap or whatever. You know, like that's not why I'm doing it. But it's like, if you stop putting stuff out, I don't, you know, like the law of attraction. I'm not necessarily believe in it, but actually a little bit of me does it. If nothing's going to come to you, if you're not going out to there. Yeah. So that's my thing. You got to keep working.
Oh yeah. That thing of staying in and, you know, becoming bitter, which I do think is like the worst sin there is, basically. Nothing is going to happen for you while you're sitting around bitching. And there's nothing wrong with that as well. You know, we need to do it sometimes. But if you grind to a halt in all of your work, then nothing's going to happen. And you're right. I think it's so much better to get up and do a slightly failed work in progress show for 10 people in a pub. You're right. I was thinking about this on the way here as well. I no longer think about my big break. This could be my big break sort of thing. It's like, no, I don't believe in them anyway. And also I'm not sure how useful they are, even for the people I know who did get a big break that was really significant and turned into something huge. I don't know. It's just, it's not how it works. But what does work is keeping on getting back up. You know, and that is definitely what I tell myself. It's the never give up thing. It's just the sort of, it's, what is it? Stay rubbery. Yeah. Don't get too rigid. Don't get too rigid in your ideas. But also don't give up. Don't just sort of like flatten into a puddle. Just sort of be ready. Be ready to do stuff. And I was thinking, so one of the things about what I do is I do a variety of things. And I think the thing is to keep your hand in all of it. So you don't get rusty in any area. Like I did a stage show 3 years ago now, and I hadn't done a play for a really long time. And I was kind of terrified, and to the point where I nearly didn't do it, and I did it, and it went really well, and I loved it. But it was a good example for me to sort of go, oh no, you have to keep sort of testing yourself, and you have to don't let any of these things just grind down to nothing. So I don't do that anymore, and also I can't do that anymore. You know, that I don't have that skill set, or I'm too scared to get back up.
So you're at home, you've got, let's not say 12, let's say 6 things on the go. 6
things on the go.
And they're on your to-do list, and they're pressing.
Oh, God.
And there's nothing left to clean, all right?
Although I have to say, I'm jealous of the people who clean to procrastinate, because what I do is I start cleaning something and then I get distracted and do something else. So
there are no roofs left. There's no flashing left to stick back onto your roof. But what are you telling yourself to finally sit yourself down and open the laptop? What's the thing that pushes you over the edge?
Am I going to anger somebody?
Oh, good one. That's so good. Am I going to anger somebody? Right, so it's like someone else needs this.
Somebody else, yeah. And if I'm going to let somebody down, or the possible, and I can imagine that people are angry with me on zero evidence at all. That's just how I work. So those things will take priority. So I suppose the scariest people in my life, or for example, the tax, HMRC.
Life admin. Okay,
admin.
This is a big one, because I spoke to another guest who had a very hefty monthly payment to pay HMRC. So it's not only are they going to be angry at me, like what is the actual consequence?
Yeah,
There were people who were like, oh, send us that script, that would be really great, I'd love to read it. And you go, yeah, whatever, I'll never send it to you. There'll be no consequence other than the fact that I missed an opportunity. You missed that 31st of January deadline.
Oh, you're literally out of pocket.
Okay, so are you good with that kind of stuff?
I'm really good with that stuff.
Good.
I mean, I'll do it with feelings of anxiety, and I've learned the hard way. I'm disorganized, so that can cause me problems. But if I with something that's going to cost me money, and is a scary, potential people knocking on your door and being, and taking you to prison. Obviously, I've not come anywhere near
you make the news
that.
At 10.
Yeah, exactly. So actually, when I went to university, I went to quite a small sixth form, and I was pretty good at school, so they were nice to me. It would be like, yeah, you can hand that in a bit late or whatever. I got to university and it was all so anonymous, and I was like, nobody knows who I am. I got really, really good with deadlines. Like really, I'd say it was the biggest thing that university taught me was just going, oh no, I'm going to hand this in because I don't have anyone to go and charm or sort of say, oh, please could I'm really not into the lying. I could never say my granny died. Because I just feel that would somehow kill my granny or someone else. So I got really, really good at, and also I hated working in the evenings, and I still do, except for performing and stuff. Writing in the evenings gives me the fear. So I just sort of started working.
Person.
Yeah,
okay.
in those terms, yeah.
So just that kind of, there's a deadline
Looming.
What if there's no deadline?
Oh, terrible. I mean, I may as well be in a coma. It's just like, nah, forget it. And I can even tell when it's not a real deadline. When someone goes, oh, okay. If someone says, oh, okay, I'll give you a deadline. It's like, no, I can hear in your voice that's not a real deadline. I'm not going to get that done, am I?
I insist upon real deadlines. Like, even if it's like a kind of development thing, I'm like, they're like, oh yeah, work on the characters. When do you want it by?
No, when do you want it by? Seriously.
You need to tell me when. Otherwise, it will be the climate. That 1.5 degrees they keep saying the world will go up by. We'll be at that climate limit.
Yeah.
We'll be dead. And then we'll be all for nothing. All right. So let's do it before the world boils. Let's do it now, please.
Yes. Yeah.
So a deadline is good.
Really
Money,
good.
Financial consequence is good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's consequences. I mean, God, upsetting people. Letting people down. And I suppose what you have to turn that around to is into letting myself down. That famous phrase, isn't it?
It's not we're all fine, but it's you. You let yourself down.
Yeah, exactly.
You are the first parent that I've spoken to.
Okay, well, it's funny. I was just thinking about that. I was thinking, oh my God, letting my kids down when if I fail to do something in time for them, if I miss... I've never missed a World Book Day.
School stuff, because it's just, they lay it on fit for the parents these days.
My God.
My goodness.
Oh my God, the worst.
It's like book club, book fair, fate, fancy dress day, fancy hair day, odd sock day, red nose day, purple toe day, stick out your elbow at a funny angle day. It's just every day, and everything requires money. I've never God, give us money, give us more money. Why? We're raising money. Give us when does it end? Are you quite good with all that stuff?
No, but I'm kind of fairly on top of what needs to be done in time. Weirdly, I was going to say my husband. I really hate the word husband. Somebody said, do you use the word hubby? And it's like, I can barely use the word husband. I don't know. They're all, exactly. They're all bad. Yeah. But partner sounds weird as well. Anyway, my kid's dad, he bloody loves the costumes, and he will be making cardboard shields and and painting them.
What does he do? Is this part of his day job?
No, he's the same as us, so it's sort of his procrastination. He's supposed to be writing something.
There we go.
There we go. Oh, that's his. 100%. It's his procrastination. Is he will be building some amazing thing. He was gutted though. The last Roman day we did, my son had a brilliant costume, but he was gutted. He came home and I said, was it the best one? Because it's usually the best one. And he said, no, Gennaro had a chariot, and Gennaro's mum had built onto his scooter a massive cardboard chariot. It was absolutely incredible.
Mum is a stand-up. we know now what Gennaro's mum does for a living. She does not. I mean, that's incredible. So I'm like minimum input, maximum output.
Yeah. If it was up to me, it would be the same. So, they'd be in.
I got a face. I've taught myself to face paint.
Oh, very good.
Genius for fancy dress day. Can you just dress them all in black and then paint their face whatever they got to be.
That's good.
Because see, my partner's a lawyer, and he wants nothing to do with any of that stuff. He's just, and obviously he's got a normal job, right? He's busy.
He's busy.
I'm busy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm busy too, but I'm a different kind of busy. You know what I mean? I'm a kind of.
It's busy, harder to quantify, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of. I know I am busy, but I did just spend 20 minutes on my couch waiting for you to come. So I am busy.
Married at first sight, is that busy? Tell me.
I'm busy getting to the busyness, if that makes sense. So I do, but schoolwork, it is procrastination. And it's necessary because it's a big part of. It's such an important part of their lives.
I know.
God, like they remember that. Gennaro will remember the rest of his life. The day
that he rode on a chariot.
Ben-Hur music playing out of the boombox, probably.
Just incredible.
Okay, so I'm thrilled to hear that you've got someone else to do that.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Really delegating.
So what's your
so good.
which bit of parenting is that you do take over for
I
your
do.
procrastination?
I do basically the social stuff,
the
the clubs,
Yeah.
and the emotional support. That is, you can laugh, Athena.
I feel like husband has this like that has you've done a short straw there. So I do all the really stressful, time consuming, really.
No, I can't. No, he does all the cooking.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a big thing. And as I say, that's the only thing that needs doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can even go in dirty clothes if they have to, but they need to be fed. Like that's our bottom line. So no, the emotional, but also I enjoy's the wrong word, but the emotional stuff, I feel like those are the few times that I feel I'm decent at parenting, are the times where I've talked my kids down from some big.
Well, that's the JD. That's the job description.
Oh.
That's kind of like, oh, this is like the other stuff is like, oh, why am I constantly cleaning? You've got sugar soap.
Wiping
you need sugar soap as a parent. It's always and you don't even know what it is that's on the walls. Like, what is it? Like
the walls are crumbling down. They've been scrubbed down.
It's just that their hands are dirty and the hands go on the wall, and we don't know what the dirt is. So,
oh my God, getting that new sofa. Like, you're still slightly in the little tiny fingers stage, but getting rid of our rug that had piss all over it, and our sofa that had banana stains all over it, I get so happy.
Well, I'll tell you what, we went wipe clean.
We so good.
Clean. And I was against it because it's so much more expensive to get like leather furniture or whatever. Or if you get PVC stuff, it doesn't last very long. What my partner paid for, and to be honest, in fact, before you leave, I'll show you the biro that I'll be wiping off after you go.
That's your procrastination afternoon sorted.
So it is worth getting wipe clean if you can afford.
It's sweaty against your legs though, no?
It's fine. Well, do you know what? Not to. It's a north facing front, so it's quite cold that side of the house. I think we need to worry about my legs, so I thought you should know that. Don't worry. It's in the coldest part of the house.
I was going to spend the day.
it's in the coldest part of the house. That's fine.
Okay.
Kids. Do you think procrastinators? Professional procrastinators. It's like we get things that distract us from our jobs, right? What's difficult is when you have lots of jobs, and when you're a parent, you do have lots of jobs. You're a stylist, you're an educator, you're a therapist, or whatever. Do you find your work becomes procrastination from your parenting? Yeah,
I mean, I suppose it goes back and forth a bit, doesn't it? You sort of, as we like discussing the guilt, you feel guilty for. I mean, I never feel guilty spending time with my kids, but there's definitely, like, if I'm with them, do you know, it's weird, before I had kids, work was kind of everything, and I like to think I'm a good friend and a good partner and all of that, but basically I used to drop everything for work all the time, prioritize work, and the only point of having children really is to give you some perspective of that, to sort of go, oh no, if I don't get that job, at least that means I can look after my kids that week.
They're really handy for that, actually.
Exactly.
Like, I'm really quiet over August, but it's the summer holidays, so it's okay. It's the summer holidays, it's fine.
It's what I'm meant to be doing. But just before I had my first child, a friend of mine, when I was freaking out about it, a friend of mine said, it's absolutely fine. It's just that the things that you quite want to do, you will never do again. But if you really want to do it, you'll do it. You can do it. If you really want to do something, you can do it. If you quite want to do it, it's gone. Those days are gone of like, oh, I quite fancy doing that. So you can make that sketch. Like, so the thing that I find is, nothing is as good as I want it to be. Nothing. Including my parenting. It's all just like, okay, I'm just gonna have to put this out now. This is as done as I can do it. I've lost my mind. I now have an hour until kids' bedtime or whatever. It's just perfectionism. Go. I think the key to life. Here we go. I'm going to give you the key to life. This is why I'm an influencer. Is be wholehearted, right? So in everything you're doing, even if it is your procrastination, even if it is literally watching Married at First Sight Australia or whatever, listen, sometimes you do have to. Your brain goes into a puddle, and you do have to just relax or whatever. But even if it's, you know, if it's a social thing, if it's an active work thing, if it's a thing that you hate, if it's a chore, not seeing it as something that's stopping you from getting what you want or from being who you are. So go, no, this is who you are. This is what you want to do right now. Or even if it's not what you want to do, you have to do it. So you may as well try and enjoy this, you know, this bit of laundry, this boring email that you're sending, and, you know.
Yeah, just cleaning the bio off the couch.
Like, yeah. Or, you know, try and give it some welly. Try and, you know, build up your
that's
muscles.
That's such a good bit of advice, because that's everybody is inadvertently giving me lots of advice. So you're all gonna be gifting me the hell out of this. You're gonna hate me, but it's really good to be wholehearted, because even if it seems trivial, it's not trivial for you in that moment.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing, even if I will chase a fly out of a room for 20 minutes, and I'm not just saying that because there's a fly in here right now. Like, I'm very passionate about there not being flies in the room that I'm in, but that's because I'm passionate about that. I want it out.
Yeah. Give it everything.
And I want to do my work without.
I can't hear it.
I can hear it. I think I'm like Spider-Man.
Yeah, you've become attuned.
Senses, but they're not useful. I just hear things that I shouldn't normally be hearing. But I feel a bit self-conscious as well, because I've got a guest in my house and there's flies.
Oh my God, so, please don't. You should see what's in my house.
I was meant to ask you, actually. I forgot to do a pebble dashing check on the toilet, because that's what the kids...
Do you know, I was talking to someone recently and she hadn't heard of pebble dashing, either the real stuff or in the toilet. And I was like, what?
Because she's young, because she's posh.
Well, she's 29, a bit of both, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
29 and quite posh.
About young people. So partner has an intern, 20, right? First proper job. And she had to be taught how to use the phone. Because she's like, because she was picking up the phone and like not asking who people were. So
what was she doing? Was she saying hello?
Lord knows what she was doing on this phone. Like,
God.
just like ahoy hoy.
Yeah, exactly.
So she was like, yeah, when you pick up the phone, you got to ask who it is, and when you pass the phone on to whoever, and he was like, don't you phone people? And she was like, no. And she was like, don't you call your mum? Like, no. And think about it, if you're 19 or 20, you probably don't use the phone.
Yeah.
It's text, WhatsApp, email, DMs.
What's funny is voice notes. I was thinking about voice notes and how they are just voicemails, but why are they so much better than voicemails? No. Voicemails, I would never listen to a voicemail.
But you're forced to listen to a voice note, right?
Yeah.
You have 79 new voicemails. Well, add to the file.
Forget.
But when someone sends you a WhatsApp, you are obliged to
I
listen
like
to
it though. It's like a little podcast.
Oh God, you're one of those ones. Luckily, I listen to them all on high speed.
Do you?
Yeah, because...
But then everyone sounds really coked off their faces.
I don't have earbuds. And
that's what you need.
And I just got a new phone, and I'm staunchly against buying tech, or at least like a second-hand phone. So I've always had like plug-in ear, and now no phones have.
I know they don't have the
holes. There's
the hole isn't the right
whatever.
Input.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. We get it. We understand.
I'll say the right word and I'll insert it here. So I don't have like a Bluetooth thing. I'm not going to buy any, because I don't want to buy any tech. I don't buy tech, and I'm not going to buy it second hand because it's gross. So when I get a voice note, and if I'm on the train, I'm not putting
it to your ear.
My friends are like, I can't put them on loudspeaker. Do you know what I mean? Like,
oh no, so dangerous. I know, because often when I'm leaving a voice note, it's because I'm slagging someone off and I don't want to write it down and be screenshots.
Chlamydia, and it's just like, no, thrash. It's all kind of things you don't want to be broadcast on the tube. So voice notes, but young people don't pick up the phone. And why would they? No one calls them. They don't call people. And it was really funny. So it was real learning, actually, because I don't know why I'm talking about partners work so much, but he has like trainees, right? And he'd always say to them, like, have you phoned who are such and such a client? And they'd be like, oh, I sent them an email. And he'd be like, phone them. And they'd be like, I
don't understand.
And they start, and he couldn't understand what the big deal was.
No,
like, you're 54.
Yeah, and exactly.
People,
but you do. I think you do get out of the habit as well. Like, I'm a bit scared of. I think there's maybe 3 people that I actively ring and would pick up a phone.
Yeah, there's not many.
From.
One of them is my mum.
Yeah.
So I don't call many people. And if I'm honest, like, I love everyone in my life. But if their name is flashing up on my phone, I'm like, for fuck's sake,
exactly.
Like, what are you doing? Who calls? It's 2024. And then I'll be, hi! my initial reaction is always like, never have time. But a lot of it is also a time thing. Like I genuinely, we talk about procrastination, but why is it we never have time? I never have time. Everything is like, it's like this morning I was like, oh, I had loads of things to do. I didn't have time. If someone called my phone this morning, I don't know what I would have done. I would have hummus everywhere.
Do you know what I find? I think if we were able, and the people I pick up the phone to or from, whichever way around that is, are the people that I feel confident to have like a 30-second phone call with and then hang up quickly. But there's not many of them. I feel like a phone call is now this big, this sort of fanfare, and you need the time.
Put it in the diary.
Put it in your diary, have the emotional. I had a friend who was talking about another friend of ours who's going through something shit. And he said, the thing is, I know it takes him a pint before he's him, right? And what he means by that is he needs, in order to get to talk about the real stuff, you need half an hour, 40 minutes of just chit chat, of just before he'll actually go, okay, here's the actual thing. Who has time for that? Who has the time for the little gentle chit chat?
We should have time for that. And also,
why does it feel so huge though?
That is procrastination in another form, right? Yeah. That is, there's something I've got to do, and there's something I've got to say, and there's something I want this person to know.
Oh, but I've gone fizzy just thinking about it.
But in order to get to that, I've got to talk about the weather.
Yeah.
Or I've got to talk about, how are the kids? Or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you watch Baby Reindeer?
Yeah.
Or one of those things. And then, but that's why we got to be kind to this guy, because they're just doing what we do before we do this amazingly important thing that we're going to get paid for, this thing that we're not going to get paid for, but it could be really good and lead us to something really good. But we're stopping ourselves because we've got to wait until the moment is right and something that we cannot see or describe aligns itself and allows us to get it out of our system. But this guy sounds long, man. Yeah. there's no denying that.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're so right. I think we have to sort of find the stuff that is just not very important, the kind of the chuff of life, just the sort of the edges of things, and just be a bit gentler and a bit more mundane and
you've got to work
whatever.
through the gears, and we don't. Something that's come up a lot in this podcast is capitalism, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what it forces us to do.
Yeah.
And because
you are a machine.
We are machines, right? But we're not like I said earlier, being a creative machine is an oxymoron. It's oxymoronic because it's not how creativity works. And it's not the purpose of creativity. The purpose of creativity is not to make money. Bizarrely, in spite of the fact that it can be so lucrative. It's not lucrative for 90% of people to do it.
Yeah.
These are just facts. I think the average salary of someone who works in the music industry is like $15,000 a year. So if you work somewhere in the music industry, either on the creative side or technical side, if you get paid more than $50,000, you're in like the top God knows percent. And it probably wouldn't be that different to write a copyright.
No, it will be.
It doesn't work. It doesn't match capitalism. What we do.
My friend Julia said a brilliant thing. She said all the people who complain about, who sort of say that maths is the only important thing, not maths, but economics and and sort of look down on the arts basically, and say it's a sort of namby-pamby useless subject. Those people should all be forced to read spreadsheets when they get home from their job and nothing else. All they should no art for you, no Netflix, no music, nothing. If that's not important to you, then you can sit and look at numbers.
No stand up, no museums.
And that is what is the point of life without those things?
Go to your all-inclusive and eat your scrambled eggs. There's nothing to look at. Stay in your resort. It's sort of bizarre, and it
is so bizarre that we don't see it as more important. It's so important. The doing of it, the consuming of it. It's what makes life good. Drama that we love.
Aboriginal Australians, First Nations people have been around for 60,000 years. You see their finger paintings, those dot paintings. They're some of the most stunning things you'll ever see, and they've been doing those from before you can even imagine humanity even existing. Before we don't even understand how old those societies are, and that's how long we've been figuring stuff out with our hands and our minds, and imagining
expressing
things. So we should be paid more. We need a minimum wage for creatives, I think. But I think all creatives need to get when they make that decision to become a creative, this would be advice I'd give to anyone, that decision can't be connected to any kind of wealth creation, because if it is, but if it is, you're giving up within months, weeks, if you and then if it is to do wealth creation, the people who pay you most to do what you do are probably they're most likely to be rewarding you for not necessarily. I'm not saying all commercially purchased art is bad or whatever.
No, not
but
at
you have
all.
to be really vigilant.
Yeah.
Against kind of like someone saying, here's a lot of money, tell that joke about midgets. And it's just like, oh God, like, or, you know, like, it's, because, and Netflix is doing a lot of that, let's be real.
Yeah.
Like, and not just Netflix, but just like lots of social algorithms reward you for being algorithms now reward you for resonance. Okay, so say the thing that travels the most and
God.
Now there's nothing wrong with that, but the problem with resonance is it's not original. Okay, so it's like I sent a video. God, I don't normally talk about partner this month. It's just I feel itchy.
No, it's part of it. Come on.
I sent her a video, right? It was a video. It was, you know, there's lots of parent videos, okay, and it was a video of a parent going, this is how I'm gonna treat my kids' houses when they grow up. And it's, you know how like children take off their clothes and the clothes land where they land, and, you know, they eat crisps, but there's more crisps on the so it was just, I thought it was quite funny the way this woman did this. And I sent it to him and he said, oh yeah, I've seen that before. And I said, what, the same video? No, a different video acting out the same premise. Right? He didn't use acting out in premise. Yeah. Because I'm a creator.
Whatever he said. Yeah.
But, you know, you saw the same video. And I thought to myself, God, there's probably about 1,000 videos of a parent filming themselves, pretending to be a
doing
child.
That.
But she had like, got, you know, millions of views or whatever. And she herself as a creator has had 200,000 followers, whatever. Yeah. So the algorithm is now rewarding you for not being particularly
original.
I liked it. It was funny. It was hilarious, but it's...
But you're right. If you can get too involved in that, but that's how you end up with people saying really, really bad stuff, because the stuff that goes viral, the stuff is like, oh my God, can you believe they said this? And that becomes addictive. And if you do only care about that, like your reach or whatever, then you become, you know, willing to sell your soul.
If you're getting into it for attention or money, be really vigilant as to where the money's coming from and where the intention comes from and why it's coming to you, which is where, again, procrastination comes into it. Yeah. Because one thing that is needed to create great art is time. Yeah. It really takes a long time to get to a point where I'm like, oh my God, that's truly original. I'm really proud of it. Sometimes you'll get like you have a bit of inspiration after a show on the way home, but it does take time. Yeah. And I would say if you're not procrastinating, what are you making? If it's coming out that quickly,
if you're churning it out, it's not going to be original. It's not going to. You're so right. I haven't thought about procrastination in these in such positive terms.
This whole podcast is about making me feel better about myself. This is not about you. It's about me. But I think do you know what? I listened to another podcast and I'm gonna find out what it was. And it was a psychologist talking about procrastination, and it started me. It sort of gave me the idea of talking about it more, because this person was saying that when someone procrastinates, they very rarely divert themselves from their job or task with something that is pointless. Right. You know? It's not like I don't want to write my script, so what I'm going to do is count the blades of grass on the lawn. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to scrub the barbecue or whatever, or just I'm trying to think of an example that doesn't make you sound middle class.
I mean, Athena, you're just going to have to accept that you are bloody middle class.
I'll clean the air fryer or whatever. Or my fridge light.
I'll cut this asparagus up.
The light in my fridge has gone off, so I've got to buy a new bulb. Right, so I'll do that kind of stuff, and then I'll be like, right, and now I'll finish off this sketch that they want me to make funnier. And so that is not a bad thing. You have built capacity in your life to enable you to do that. Yeah. That's a privilege. And secondly, you're using your time to do something.
To do something useful and practical.
It's one or the other.
Do you know there's an interesting thing about lots of really successful stuff came from when somebody was trying to do something else. So somebody's got a big important script that they've been working on and hating for a long time, and then they have a silly idea about something, and they sort of wander off and do that, and then that turns into an incredibly successful thing. And you're right, it's not even about the success of it, but actually having the capacity to do both. Like that was your little side hustle, your side creative thought, but then that becomes something wonderful, and it almost becomes something wonderful because it isn't weighing on this person in the same way. It's not a kind of, oh God, I said I would finish this book on Tolstoy or whatever, I'm going to do it, but I've had this idea.
Another one.
Exactly.
We don't talk about Tolstoy enough. all the other classical writers are like, this fucking prick, what did he do?
But then they've made a little cartoon about butterflies or something.
Yeah.
My examples are not great, but
it's lovely.
but
A cartoon about butterflies, about enough.
Yeah, it just becomes, and even if that doesn't then take off and become an amazing thing, it was part of, like, it's all symbiotic as a relationship. Like that's you need both. You need both in your life. You need all of these things in your life. You need the practical stuff. You need the brain farts. You need the being hard on yourself sometimes as well. If you're going to get something done, you need to give yourself deadlines and sort that out.
Exactly, and I'll say it again, be kind to ourselves.
Yeah.
On that note, I think we should wrap it up because you have 12 things to do.
I've got 12 things to do. I mean, listen, there's 2 more things that have come to mind during the whole thing.
that's
not at all.
So it's 12 things that you have to do, then 12 things that you don't have to do. That's 24 things you've got to get done today.
Oh, God. But this is going to be my big break, right? Yeah. Otherwise, what's the point?
What is the point?
Okay.
Attraction. Say it again.
Attraction. Law of attraction. I came a long way.
Margaret, it's been a pleasure. Get back to work. Okay.
Thanks, Athena.
Thank you.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed that. Everything you need to find and follow Margaret Caborn Smith will be in the description of this podcast. My takeaway from the conversation, I think the question, am I going to anger someone? That's a good motivator. That's a good incentive to get stuff done. I hope you took something out of this conversation too. My name's Athena Caborn. You can find me on all the usual social platforms. This podcast comes out every other week, mostly. I'm trying my best, but I hope you're enjoying it, and I'll see you next time.